Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Football Manager 2018 with Zebu Nation. This is Loser to Legend with CLYDE FC, and today we have for you the, we're calling it the 3/8 season update, I suppose. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, at Zebu_Nation, but if you have, you might have seen that I've been posting that there's been some flooding in my hometown, and some of that flooding has reached my basement where I have my little recording studio where I record most of these episodes. So I've had to move my computer and all my recording stuff upstairs, and in doing so, of course, I messed with the audio somehow on my computer. It got turned down to like 25%. So basically I recorded the quarter season update, and the audio was unsavable. It was just so quiet. I couldn't pump it up even with my video editing software. It was just too quiet to even bother. So I'm going to record another episode here a little bit later in this season, and that's too bad because my last recording I thought was pretty good. You know, from what I could hear, I thought it was fairly entertaining. So I'm going to try to recreate it as best as possible a little bit farther down the season. So let's get right into it. Look at the competitions here, and after 14 games, we're sitting here in third place, which is pretty good and probably pretty surprising if you've only seen my first video, which most of you, pretty much all of you, have only seen the first game that we played when we got thumped. So since then, we've gone on. We got 6 wins, 4 draws, 4 losses, only a +4 goal differential, but a total of 22 points. Only 2 points back of Stonehousemuir, who are the leading team, who are in first place, and only 1 point back of Peterhead. So we are right there in the race for promotion. We're tied with 3 other teams, Aloha and Wraith, which is kind of surprising to see Wraith all the way down here in 5th place. You know, they were the team that got relegated from the championship, so you'd figure that they would be better than this, but they made a lot of moves in the off season, and they lost a lot of players. So, and they had to bring in a bunch of players on the free. So, Wraith is not doing so hot, and we are. So, let's take a look at the checklist and figure out why we're doing so well. So first of all, go down here to the under 20s. Not a lot going on in the under 20s. You'll see a couple of interesting names down there. We'll sort it by potential here. You got a couple of guys here who shouldn't be there. Mark Morrison, who's our central defender, he's been on not injured reserve because they don't have injured reserve, but he's been injured for much of the season, so he hasn't done much, and he's just kind of in the under 20s getting fit. And then we got this guy, Mitchell Foy, who you probably don't recognize because he's a new signee, but unfortunately we signed him after the registration window. I honestly didn't realize there was a registration window, so we haven't been able to register this guy, so we haven't played him much, and he's just been sitting here in the under 20s sort of wallowing in self-pity, but that's too bad because he's pretty good. As you can see here, he's 2.5 star player, 4-star potential, 22 years old. So I wanted to get him some playing time. Pretty average physicals, pretty decent mentals, lots of determination, some composure. Okay technicals, first touch, dribbling, passing. He's just sort of an all-around average dude, and that's okay because that's kind of what we need him. He's attacking center mid. He's pretty much one of our best attacking center mids. All right, now we'll go to finances. Run through this pretty quickly. Finances not looking so hot. At the beginning of the season, we had a nice little dip here that brought us, about 100,000 pounds closer to viability here. But then, since then, just gone on a run of spending a lot of money. And the reason we've done that is because the board just loves what we're doing financially. They just keep giving us more money to spend, more payroll, more transfer budget. They've kicked it up to now we can have 20% of transfer revenue made available to us. So they are loving things financially. So I said, you know what? Forget it. If they don't mind being in the hole, then who are we? right? Who are we to say that they've got to make money? So we're just going to spend the money they give us, or, some of it anyway. So our budget has ballooned up to $458,000, but we still have a £670,000 payroll. So we're still nowhere near our top end payroll, but we have spent some more money. Speaking of the board, we are very secure now, sitting here at 69%, almost up to that 70% range, so that's pretty good. They pretty much love everything we're doing here. Tactics, they're pretty okay with, 53%. Leadership support, locker room atmosphere. There's club finances, yet again, 96%. We're 300,000 pounds in the hole, but they don't care. They're loving it. Matches, 77%. So we're looking really good here. Club-wise, do we have any news to look at? Well, we're a little too far in the season right now to look at too many news items, but look down here. The Rangers have fired their coach, and, we're once again rumored for the position at Rangers. I still don't know that if we're qualified enough to coach Rangers, but they're interested in us again, so, we could still possibly make that move. We are not yet on the list here, and this is one of the reasons I'm thinking of moving, is that we're not favored, we're not icons, we're not legends, and we're trying to get on this list, and it's just not happening. So maybe after this season. But if we don't get on the list after this season, then we really got to think about moving on, because we're just never going to be liked by these CLYDE fans for some reason. Anyway, now on to the big moves, the transfers. So if you're coming off that first episode of the season, like the first regular season game where we got beat, our team was looking pretty bad, and we played a couple of games and our team continued to not perform. So I used my new philosophy of going out spending some money, and we got some good players. We got some interesting transfers. Let's take a look at the old transfer history. So you can see quite a few players. We sent a couple of youngsters we got rid of, again, some youngsters we didn't need, and that's fine. But incoming, first we went out, we got our old friend Kessie, the central defender, and he was a real solid guy for us. We let him go just because I didn't think we needed him. He was making a lot of money, but if we're going to spend money, we might as well spend it on a guy we know he can play. He's got good pace, good decision making, positioning, marking, and heading. So he's a solid defender for us at this level. He's maybe not spectacular, but he's solid. So we picked him up just to shore up the defense a little bit. Then we went and got a center midfielder, Peter Prudhoe, 19-year-old Englishman. Decent physical stats, just sort of average. But he's very good mentally. Bravery, determination, leadership, teamwork. So this is a guy who's another team leader for us, even though he's only 19 years old. And technically he's okay. He's got first touch, he's got passing, he's got a little bit of vision. So that's what you need in the midfield, somebody who can get the ball and distribute the ball. He's a ball-winning midfielder, so he's got a little bit of tackling and a little bit of marking at 7. That's, okay for this level. Not great by any means, but as a ball winner, he does a fine job. And then our big move was we picked up a guy, Scott Lockheed, 25-year-old Scotsman, valued only at £7,000, but he's by far one of our best players in terms of just overall ability. Again, physically not that intimidating. He's got 11 pace, which is nice, I guess. Composure, very good. Some flair, some vision, passing, first touch, technique. So he's a playmaker. That's what we got on our hands, a playmaker, an advanced playmaker, and that was really a hole in our team. Was we were playing a lot of 17-year-olds and playing Dachnovich out of position at the center attacking play or center advanced playmaker. So now we got a true central playmaker. We can run our offense through this guy, and he's been pretty good for us. Then we picked up a lone player, just because we needed some more fullbacks. We picked up Ross Turner. We looked at this guy earlier in the season, and I said we weren't going to pick him up. But you know what? He was the only guy available, the only left fullback who would come to our team, honestly. So we got him. He's 18. He's improving, apparently. Gained a little strength, a little off the ball, a little bit of passing. But he's got good stats, but they're all in the wrong spots, kind of, for a fullback. Like, he's got nice stamina and fitness and balance, so he can run around and not fall over, I guess. But his, jumping reach is too low, pace is way too low, strength not good. Just not what I like in a fullback. Mentally, he's pretty good. Decisions, determination, again, leadership, great teamwork, great work rate. Technically, he's just not very good. So he was just a bench player, a stopgap, a free guy. We got him on loan from St. Mirren, just sort of to make St. Mirren feel good about us and maybe give us some more loan players in the future. Then we actually bought somebody from St. Mirren, Scott Glover, for £14.25 thousand from our transfer budget, the biggest transfer spending that we've ever done by far. And he's been pretty good for us. 21-year-old central defender with 14 pace, 14 acceleration, 15 agility. Very athletic back there on the back line. He's got some decision making. His positioning is not too good. His heading, marking, and tackling are just sort of okay. But what this guy gives us is he's a central defender, but he likes to play cover. So he drops back a little deeper, and when we play a high line, he's able to use that pace to get back and cover the rest of the defense. So he's been pretty important to us as we've gone through the season, to just be sort of a safety blanket, and so we don't get beat on the long balls quite as often as we used to, because we've got more pace and more just athletic ability there on the back line. Add him in there with Kessie, who's pretty good athletically, 12 pace, 11 acceleration, and our defense is much speedier. And then finally you saw that guy we picked up there, Mitchell Foy. And honestly, we picked this guy up not necessarily because we needed him, but because he was available and because Scott Lockheed was injured for quite a while. But unfortunately, we couldn't use Mitchell Foy because we got him after the rosters had been locked. So, we couldn't register the guy. So he's just been playing in cup games for us and in the under 20s. So he's not happy about that, but what are you going to do? All right. I don't know that we really need to go through much else. I mean, medical center, we're healthy. There's not much to say. We've had all of our injuries. Our rash of injuries are over. Everybody's fit. Everybody's healthy. Craig Murray, the youngster's coming off a fractured cheekbone. He's going to be back shortly, but even he's not, doesn't have any risk assessment or anything like that. Training staff. We did pick up a new staff member. We got a new scout here. Ian Crookshank. Not a great scout. Only 6 judging player abilities, 6 potential. He does have 20 adaptability, 18 discipline, so that's pretty good. But he was by far the best scout who applied for the job, and he's one of our better scouts as is. So, I mean, there's not really much you can say about him. He's terrible, but he's our kind of terrible. What can I say? Dynamics, I guess we can look at the dynamics here. Very good, excellent. No problems currently with the team. Everybody's happy. Hierarchy, we got 3 leaders up top now. Miller, Cudahy, and Peters. Davies, Barry, and Stewart backing them up as highly influential players. So we got very strong leadership. Very good dynamics. Everybody's in the core social group except for Turner, who is our lone guy. Yeah, he's our lone player. And that's pretty normal. And then Miller, of course, he does this every season. I don't know why. But he breaks off into his own little, League of Legends group down here. He's got a lot of youngsters down there with him. Breslin, Murray, Prudhoe, our new signee, and Potter. Is Potter another new signee? No, Potter's the 17-year-old. So he always picks up these youngsters, which is pretty funny because early in his career, he didn't want to tutor any youngsters. He didn't want anything to do with them. And now that he's gotten older, he sort of pulls a group of them aside and, gets chummy with them, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, they have a good time. Happiness, everybody's happy. Everything's green, super green, so everything's looking good. All right, now let's get down to it, the schedule. How did we get here? Well, You saw early in the season, you saw that 4-1 debacle at Peterhead. It didn't get much better from there because we had a very tough schedule to start the season. Lost to Forfar 1-0. Lost to Wraith 2-1. And at that time, in between those two games, Forfar and Wraith, is when I decided, okay, we're gonna go out and get some players. So we got some players for the IRN-BRU Cup and brought them in. And we eked out a 3-2 victory over Airdrie. And this is like turning point in our season kind of situation. You look at how well some of these players played. Davies played very well. Kessie got in the game. Prudo got in the game. Two of our new signees. Anybody else? There's Lockheed. We brought Lockheed in on a trial because we couldn't scout him because I don't know why we couldn't scout him. I think he was playing actually in England. I don't recall. But anyway, there's a reason that we brought him in on trial. I don't remember what it was. No, he was at Brecon. Anyway, we brought him in on trial for this game, and he played really well also. Let's take a look at the goals in this game. We can show you what we're talking about. So it was a really tense game for most of the match. It was like really tight. So here we are scoring early in the game. Davies puts us up 1-0. And then it's just back and forth until the 81st minute. We've been up 1-0 this whole time. And then here's Airdrie. Robertson wide open and just scores across the goal there to tie it up. And we're thinking, okay, we'll go into overtime and we'll win it. But no, here's Hasty for Airdrie coming down the left wing, wide open, nobody marking him, and it's just an easy goal. And they go up 2-1, and you're thinking, oh man, we're going to lose this. But no, in the second overtime, Lockheed scores on a penalty to tie it up, and then he gets another penalty and scores again to win it. So our new guy, our trialist, comes in, gets 2 goals, and that's when I decided to sign him. I'm like, you know what? He comes in like that, wins us a cup game. Let's sign him up. So we started playing pretty well when we brought in those guys. 2-1 versus Dumbarton, 2-0 versus Brecon. We lost a heartbreaker 2-0 to Aloha, but then we came back in the IRN-BRU Cup again. 3rd round, and we win again 4-2. Another outstanding game. Another great game from our new players, especially Lockheed. He had a 9.0 rating in this game. So we'll show the goals here. I'm just really happy with the way this team is playing right now. So they score early on us. There's McIntosh, gets an easy goal off a set play there. But then we come back, Miller on a set play of our own. Miller with a yellow card. He's gotten a lot of yellow cards this season. But here's Leach sending it back post for Dallas. So there's winger-to-winger combination. And Dallas has played pretty well this season. So it's tied going into the second half. 63rd minute. There's a terrible play right there by the defender. And then King. And King was very important for us early in the season. Because as I mentioned in the first episode, here's Lockheed getting another penalty kick to put us up 3-1. And here comes King again. And Peters, I said, was supposed to be our number 1 striker. And this is a great pass. Look at that back pass to Dallas for his second goal. Peters was supposed to be our number 1 striker, but he got injured early in the season, and he wasn't playing well. And King came on and really saved our bacon, and he scored a lot of goals for us early in the season. Here's Dunfermline getting one back, and that's an own goal from Lindsay, which is kind of embarrassing. But, at 4-2, it was too late at that point. So we shut it down, we went to control, and we ran out the clock on them. So we got the win 4-2 in the IRN-BRU Cup. And then we came back in the 4th round of the IRN-BRU Cup, and at this point we're undefeated for 5 matches. And we come out and we crush Connors Quay, Connors Quay? I don't really know how to pronounce that. But they're a Welsh team. I've never played a Welsh team in this competition before. I didn't even know they were in this competition. But, we played them. They're in the Welsh Premier League, which apparently is not quite as good as the Scottish first league. And, yeah, we crushed them 5-0. I don't think we'll show all these goals, but you can take a look at the ratings. I mean, everybody was just killing it. Nobody below a 7.9. Yeah, nobody below a 7.9 except for Bowden, who we subbed in late. And we played a lot of youngsters. We played Murray, who got injured in the game, but he's one of our 17-year-olds. You know, we played Foy. There's our man Foy, who hasn't played much, but when he did come in, he got a 7.9 rating, so that's pretty good. And then Leach and Peters came in and crushed it as well. So we just murdered these guys, and that kept our run going. We are undefeated since that IRN-BRU game there. And that's why we've been able to move up the charts the way we have. And we've done it mostly on attacking. We've been just you know, going forward, using our players. We've got all those strikers and just been attack, attack, attack. So here we are now at the 3/8 point of the season. I don't know if that's actually accurate, but that's what I'm calling it. And we're going to take a look at the IRN-BRU quarterfinal. We've never been here, never been this far in the IRN-BRU Cup. We got Eloa versus the Kilmarnock under-20s. Wraith is in there still versus Falkirk. Brecon versus the Aberdeen under-20s. So it's a lot of teams we're familiar with and some under-20s. And then this Livingston team, not too familiar with them. And they are the lone championship team left. So we kind of drew the short straw here. We drew the best team left in the competition. And we'll take a look at these guys, see if we've done any scouting to them. A little bit of scouting, and they look pretty good. But they've got some problems. They've got, you know, a guy out on international duty. He's resting. An injury, another injury to their lone player, Harvey St. Clair. Looks like they've got a lot of players who would be very good for our level, but it also looks like they've got a lot of injuries, a lot of suspensions. So, you know, they might not be fully fit for this game, and that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they're just not caring about this cup competition. They're 5th in the Ladbrokes Championship, so they're fighting for a promotion spot, I guess. And hopefully, hopefully we can take them by surprise. So here we are. This is the formation we've been using quite a bit. The 4-2-3-1 with our advanced playmaker there, making a lot of plays, getting the ball to our strikers. We'll hand that over to the assistant coach, and we'll start moving forward. So this season, you know, started out with a little bit of despair, looking at our club and saying, man, we're really far away. But it turns out we weren't really far away. We were just a couple of players away, and that's pretty good. You know, I had kind of wanted to bring in more lone players. And I've been listening to some podcasts and stuff like that. You know, some FM podcasts. I don't know if you know that, but there are actually FM podcasts out there. And one of them I listened to was the Tempo 10 podcast. And we had a little discussion on Twitter, actually, about lone players. And, you know, they were giving me some hints on lone players. And their whole podcast this week was all about getting players in on loan, especially in lower divisions like we're playing with here. So I had kind of wanted to do that and follow their advice, but I wasn't able to get the quality of loanies that I wanted before the transfer deadline, before the roster cutoff. So maybe I'll try that for the second half of the season, bring in some loanies if necessary. But if our team keeps playing the way we're playing right now, it might not be necessary. So let's go. Let's take on Livingston. And again, here's our formation. Everybody is fit. Everybody's looking pretty good. I had thought of bringing Foy up because this is basically our one chance to play him. But I don't really know who to bring him in for. Maybe we could bring him in for Diver if necessary, because he can play striker. Diver is one of our lone players, but he hasn't been playing much. But yeah. I guess we'll do that because we've got other options that we can bring in other positions, but we don't have many other options at the advanced playmaker. So if something happens to Lockheed, it would be nice to have Foy on the bench. Lockheed is lacking match sharpness because he is just back from injury, just like a couple of weeks back from injury. But that's okay. So here we are. Livingston, I almost called him Brecken because of all the yellow, but Livingston going with the classic 4-4-2. Got a yellow card here. They got their most assists here from their center midfielder. 5 assists in 18 appearances. Up here they got their highest rating player, 7.23, the striker. Only 5 starts for this guy. That's interesting. 14 appearances though, so they bring him off the bench quite a bit. 6 goals on the season, 7.23 rating. He's their super sub, I guess. Then Morrison, their top goal scorer, has 8 goals. So we got to watch out for those guys. Now here's our lineup. Parks in goal. He's been playing very well this season. Got Stewart and Finlayson at the fullback position. They've both been playing very well. We've got our highest rated lineup in there that we could get. So these are our best players who are playing the best right now. There's Glover, smiling man. He looks like he's from California with that hairdo, but he is our, our sweeper defender. I don't know. He kind of plays that. He's our cover man. Anyway, Glover the cover. He's paired up with Davies, who's taking the captain's armband right now. There's our young new signee, Prudo, teaming him up with our other youngster, Barry, who's our homegrown. Well, not homegrown. I think we got Barry on a free transfer a couple of seasons ago. He feels homegrown, but he's not. And we got Lockheed in the middle, holding it down. King, one of our strikers, he can play left wing, so we're getting him in there to give us some more firepower up front. So he's playing that left wing. Dallas on the right wing, and Peters up top. Peters is our top goal scorer with 10 goals in 11 appearances, which is pretty good. He also has the most assists with 4. King has 9 goals in 11 appearances, so we're scoring a lot more goals. Finlayson also has 4 assists from the fullback position, so he's playing pretty well. So, just overall offensively, we're playing well. So let's get to the kickoff. Let's set some instructions. First of all, there we go. So we'll close down on these guys, tightly mark their wingers. I guess we'll tightly mark Craig. Right, that's number 7. Yeah, we'll tightly mark Craig, or close down on Craig anyway, because he's their leading assist man. Doesn't look like any of their fullbacks are moving forward, so that's good. All right, team talk. We're the underdogs, and that suits us. Go out there and cause an upset. There we go. We got a couple of thumbs up for that. Let's go. So we're playing at their stadium. I don't know if this is... I don't think this is a home and home. Hang on a second. Let's check the schedule real quick. IRN-BRU Cup quarterfinal. Yeah, I think it's just one game. Rules, match rules. Winners qualify for the semifinal. Okay, so there we go. Let's get back to it. So, already offside, I guess. That was weird. He looked not offside, but what are you gonna do? So this is the farthest we've been in this cup. I'm interested to see what kind of paycheck we get from this, because the IRN-BRU Cup normally pays pretty well, but we've never made it this far, so we're probably looking at, at least, 10, 12,000 at least for this. So there's Davies holding down the back line. There's Morrison gets in. Ooh, his cross was dangerous, but nobody followed him up. No support. So that's no good. I mean, that's good for us, bad for them. Here's Ferguson now. Sends one in. Oh, a missed header. Waters tracks it down, centers it to Craig, and there's a deflected shot. They had a guy offside. This guy was offside. Yeah, get out of there. Offside, Davies. No, they called an own goal on Davies. Can you have offside on an own goal? Probably not. Where's the VAR, man? Where's the I mean, I guess these guys were probably playing him onside, but look at that. He looks way offside. I guess he didn't touch the ball or whatever, but still. Get out of here with that. All right. All right. So they've gone up 1-0, but we've been down before this season, and we've come back. Peters to Davies with the header. Oh, I thought that was in. He almost tied it up immediately. All right, so that was a nice highlight. Need a few more of those. Here, what looked like a Livingston highlight. Craig, can we get the ball? Can we steal it? Waters sends it in. Okay. Parks grabs it out of the air, I guess. He dove on the ground for it. That was weird, but bashes it downfield. Peters wins it to Barry. Barry to Lockheed, to Dallas. Let's go. Centers it back to Lockheed. Up to Peters. Can he get it to King? No, he just fires it in the back of the net. Why pass it when you can just do that? Peters. He's rounding into form. You saw how many goals he's had, and he hasn't played a full season. So he is getting back into form and scoring goals and scoring cracking goals like that one. Just bang. One-timer. Nice shot. Nice shot. Roar of the crowd. Even though we're away, it doesn't matter. All right, boys. We tied it up. This is what we've been doing all season. You know, it doesn't matter if we go down. We just sort of stick to it, keep playing, and we keep getting goals. Parks, what are you doing? He's tempting fate back there. Sends it long to Dallas, who can't win it. McMillan sends it deep, but looks like Davies is going to get there. No, Davies gets out hustled. There's the oh, nice save by Parks. I don't like that effort from Davies. He got sort of pushed aside. All right, here we go. Here's Rooney. Throw in near side for Livingston. Gets it to Morrison. Up to Ferguson. Ferguson looking. Finlayson. Nice play. Sends it out to King. King, can he get it forward? He does. Peters. Like to see him drop that back. Maybe not to Dallas, but there's Barry has it. Not a great pass, but Prudhoe. Again, we're just bouncing it off their midfield. Dallas can't win it. I don't know if Dallas is physically able to win matches against these guys that we're playing, this championship quality side. Here they are beating us. Long Morrison. Morrison, he's got a bad angle, but it does. Oh, what a stop. Holy cow, what a stop. Parks. That was unbelievable. I mean, their striker got a little lazy there, just tried to tap it home. And Parks with an incredible save. Holy smokes. What's his reflexes? 13. That looked like a much higher ability than 13. I'm like flabbergasted at the moment. That could save the match for us. Here's Stewart. Throw in. Near side. Gets it to Peters. Peters into the box. It's intercepted. But there's Davies coming up to get it. Prudhoe. Lockheed. Barry. Barry's just going to fire it. Not exactly what I was looking for, but you know. Little over anxious, but if that had gone in, I've been pretty happy about it. How's our ratings looking? Pretty average, other than Peters with that, spectacular strike. He's got an 8.0 rating. Everybody else is in the 6 category. They're not looking much better. They pretty much got the same thing. Their striker's got a 7.2. Everybody else is in the 6 range. 28 minutes. It's been a little bit of a lethargic half in terms of, we've had a few nice goals, but other than that, it's kind of crawling. It's sort of interspersed with highlights, and the clock isn't moving real fast, so, the half isn't going fast, but it isn't going slow. So I'm not sure what's happening in the background. Here we go. Here's a highlight. Nisbet boots it downfield. Morrison's there. Glover wins the header, though. Gets it to King. Lockheed to Barry. Barry gets it stolen in the midfield. Not happy about that. Morrison to Ferguson. We got to watch these two guys. Looks like their advanced playmaker is also trying to get forward. They're going to send it across the formation to McCart. Send it into Morrison, and another amazing save from Parks. Parks is keeping us in this game right now, and if he can stay hot for the whole game, I would appreciate it. So that might be what wins us. There's Glover, gets the header to Prudo. No counterattack, apparently. 38 minutes and rolling now. Stewart's been booked. Okay, you can ease off tackles a little bit. He only has a 6.5 rating. Same with Finlayson. We got plenty of options on the bench at fullback, so we might take Stewart out just to avoid any chance of a red card. He's dropped to a 6.4 rating, 6.5. So yeah, I think at halftime we're going to take him out. Defenders keep losing Morrison, that is true, so we'll mark him for sure. King not looking too good at the left wing also. I don't think we'll take him out just yet, but we'll think about it. Might be getting shots, but they're from long range. Work the ball in the box. Okay, that's something that we've done in the past and that has worked. So dressing room, talk to the team. We're not doing badly. Just work hard and we'll win this. Okay, everybody's okay with that. Tactics. We will add work the ball into the box. Maybe even try retain possession. That's another thing I've been doing when things aren't going well. I've been, adding these two instructions, and it's been working out pretty good. So we'll do that, and then we will replace Stewart with Gibson, they're pretty much interchangeable. Gibson is pretty good. He's a solid defender, 15 tackling, 12 marking, so he's even a better tackler, or better defender than Stewart. And Stewart is looking really bad. Holy cow, I didn't look at this guy. His stats are falling like a rock. All right, so we'll keep Gibson in there. That was a good move. All right. So here we go, second half, 1-1. Maybe they should have a couple of more goals, but they don't. So it's a clean slate here. It's a brand new half. Here's Lockheed, gets it forward to Peters. Peters gets a shot not on goal, but he gets a shot. Anyway, that's a good way to start the half, is, first highlight, getting at least a shot. I'd like to see King play better and Dallas play better. Our wingers are not holding it down right now. Don't have a lot of options on the bench. We got Leach. We could bring Foy in the middle and move Lockheed out to one of the wings. That's a possibility as well. Dallas and King don't play well. We also have Leach, our youngster, who's been coming on lately. He is much better than he used to be. 15 flair, leadership, 11 crossing now, free kick taking. So he's pretty decent. Glover now has a yellow card. Tell him to ease off tackles. All right, we're 60 minutes in, and our wingers are still playing terribly. So I think I will do this move. Gonna move Lockheed out to right wing. Bring in Foy in the middle. And then we're going to bring in Leach on the left-hand side and put him on support. And we'll move Lockheed to attack. So there we go. Making some changes. Let's go. They won't know what hit him. That is our third substitute, though. So Glover had better not get a red card, or we're going to be really... we're going to be hurting real bad. So the other thing we can do if things get desperate is we can move our fullbacks into attack and see if that changes anything. They made a couple of substitutions. They brought in Gilchrist and Wines. See if that does anything for them. What do these guys look like? Looks okay. Winger. Okay, here we go. Highlight. McCart sends it in for Livingston. Oh, that guy was offside. Come on. Nope. Why did it look like that guy was just hanging out way behind our defenders? The guy who touched the ball there, Gilchrist. Let's take a look at this replay. I guess we got these two guys on the post that... No. Look at that. He's totally offside. The ball bounced off him, too. Goalkeeper made the save. And it bounced off a guy who was totally offside. That is a protestable offense. All right, we're going to pause it here. We're going to send our fullbacks on attack. Hit play. And then we'll take off retain possession. We're going to get stuck in. And then we're going to yell at them we're going to demand more. Let's go. Come on. Can't go out like that. Can't go out on an awful play. Oh, here's Ferguson. They're getting all the highlights in the second half. Deflection off the set piece, but there's Finlayson. He's got a yellow card now. Glover as well. Davies is getting a little tired. Here we go. Here's a highlight. Finlayson to Foy. Hasn't played much, and he bounces it off his teammate's forehead. That's no good, but he's going after it. McIntyre is caught in the corner here. He could make a terrible mistake, and he doesn't. But Finlayson wins it to Barry. Prudhoe gets it up to Foy in the middle. Foy, that's not what I wanted. Would have liked you to, play with that a little bit. That could have been our last opportunity. 87 minutes, 88. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Let's push forward. Let's play at a higher tempo. Let's be more expressive. 3 minutes. 1 minute left. 45 seconds left. 30 seconds left. This is not looking good. Not looking promising. They get the highlight as well, so this is probably it. 15 seconds. McCart gets a shot, almost scores, and then they put it away. 10 seconds to go. They get the nail in the coffin. So there ends our IRN-BRU Cup run versus championship squad. But they got a dodgy goal. I'm not happy about that. I'm going to yell at the press if the press asks me about it. But we played them pretty well. We played them tough. And, we could have won this game. At least we could have taken it to overtime. Who knows? There's the final whistle. So how did we play here? Okay, Finlayson not so good, 6.3, and Gibson only had a 6.2, so our fullbacks did not play well at all. Actually, nobody played particularly well other than Peters with that 8.3 rating. So overall as a team, not so good. Parks had some amazing saves. Look at that. We had 18 fouls. We fouled them quite a bit. They had 12 shots to our 8. 6 shots on target to our only 1 on target. That's no good. Team talk. Tell them they did well. I can't fault you. They didn't like that at all. They did not want to be patronized at that moment. So we failed to make it into the semifinal, but making it to the quarterfinals is pretty good. That's just, like I said, as far as we've ever made it before. Defeat in the quarterfinal. Ease to victory. We got 11,000 pounds. That's pretty good. I mean, in past seasons, that would have been, that would have maybe put us out of the red, but for now, we're so far behind financially that doesn't really matter. 332,000 pounds. Hooray. We have had some better attendance recently, though. You look at our last few games. Had 1,000 versus Dumbarton. Wraith brought in 1,300 fans, so that's pretty good. We're averaging somewhere around 800 fans a game at our home matches, so that's okay. I'd like to see 1,000 be more normal, but what are you gonna do? All right, so we got the Scottish Cup coming up. We got Ladbrokes League One coming up. I guess we'll take a look at the mid-season in a few games, because now we've done the 3/8 season. We'll do the 4/8 season update in a couple of games. So that should be a pretty quick update because we're, you already know most of the moves we've made, but maybe by then the roster will be open and we'll be able to go get some more players if possible. But anyway, that's going to do it for the 3/8 season update for Season 6 of CLYDE. So until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
There's a team they call the CLYDE, who will fill your heart with pride. Dressed up in the red and black, we are now sign on the back. They've a winger and a keeper and a great big carpet sweeper. It's